My name is Liz Paris, Dutchess County, New York, file number 59994, Judge Denise Watson. I had a baby with my ex-boyfriend, was never married. When our son was 3 weeks old, I left my boyfriend. I filed for custody and child support. We were given joint custody, which was fine. And the father was given, he didn't even want full or half custody. It was the judge that kept pushing for him to have more time than he even wanted. But he had weekday overnights because our son was a baby, and the lawyers told me that because he was a baby and he wasn't in school yet, the father would have more time now. He lives 60 miles away from us, so it wouldn't be feasible for him to have weekday overnights when school started. So my lawyer told me, come school age, you file a modification petition and you come back and renegotiate. And she said if school starts in September, then do this like the spring before, and that would be plenty of time to have it resolved, which I did. Come school age, our son turned 5. I enrolled him in kindergarten here by me, and I filed the petition for modification in April, the April before September, when school began. They scheduled my first appearance for that for September 16th, a week after school began. When I went on that appearance, the judge said, we're not going to change the order. The father can drive the child into school on his weekday mornings. The father didn't object, so I didn't understand how that was going to work. So we started the school year like that. My son started missing school because his father wouldn't make the drive in, 60 miles, an hour and 10 minutes. And our son was 5 in kindergarten at this time and adjusting to being in kindergarten. One Thursday, he had a Wednesday night to Thursday night visit. So he picked our son up on Wednesday night, drove him back to his house 60 miles away. Thursday morning, drove him into school, picked him up after school. School ended at 3:15, but his visit didn't end until 6:30 or 7. He drove him back to his home 60 miles away just for me to go pick him up and drive him 60 miles back home. So, I mean, he did that to his own child. So, I still can't wrap my head around that. The judge got wind of this because I was blowing up the lawyers' phones. My lawyer and they call it the attorney for the child over here. So I got back to the judge, and she quickly made a modified order that said he had to remain in the school district and the county after those Thursday visits and not drive him to his house after school. So she realized that, like what I had been saying, this is not going to work. There's been so many incidents in my case that it took me 3 years of litigation to get that corrected. My son missed a lot of school on his father's time, so much. I got the letter from the school saying he's missing too much school. And my son had to go to school when he was sick. When he was with me and he was sick, he couldn't stay home and rest. like you're supposed to when you're sick, because he was already missing so much school attributed to his father. So he had to go to school, and he had to get the whole school sick. And so that was one of the most egregious incidents. The others, when our son was a baby, we were ordered to take the forensic evaluations. Well, they falsified mine. They wrote some things in there that were never said. I wasn't allowed to have a copy or take a picture or a video, which, go figure, why can't we have a copy? The evaluation was done right at the courthouse, so it was completely corrupt. They made me out to be an unfit mom in that evaluation. And completely, things that were never said, the evaluator wrote in the report. It was falsified. I've had, my son's father was ordered to pay child support by another judge in the same county, but he wouldn't pay it, and he works off the books to evade child support. He's had 6 orders of commitment filed by the support collection unit against him, and Judge Denise Watson dismissed all of them for no reason. Just, he would make a small payment like the day before court, and she'd be like, "Great job, you're a great father." Dismissed. The only reason she signed the 6th one was because I had filed for her to recuse herself, a motion to recuse, citing that she wouldn't enforce my child support order, and that's bias, and that was evidence of her bias, and that the 6th order of commitment was filed by support collection unit just like 2 months after I had filed her to recuse herself. And why is it when you file for a judge to recuse themselves, the person that reviews and makes the decision is that judge? Yeah, so my son's father, he's a vexatious litigator. He files petitions against me full of lies, and he's granted relief from them. He doesn't have to provide any proof. I've never had a trial. They've stripped me of my right to a fair trial by falsifying the forensic evaluation and by the judge showing very clear bias against me. That stripped me of my right to a fair trial. This is Dutchess County, New York, file number 59994, Judge Denise Watson. My name is Liz Paris, and I demand an investigation.